Welcome to Coffee with Janis and Karen.
And we wanted to talk about prayer, another facet of prayer. There are times in life when you're at war. And if you think about it, there are different facets to war even. So there's the people who are on the front lines.
Right.
There are the people who are watching the stuff. I'm using the biblical references. And there was some argument, I remember, in the Bible, in the Old Testament, the people who watched the stuff, some of the warriors were like, well, they didn't do anything. And I think it was David said, nope, they get to share in all the spoils too, because they were doing that. Or sometimes people are injured, and so they're not at the front lines.
Right.
And war doesn't last forever.
Right.
Okay, so Janis, in your life, you have been at war in prayer. Yeah. And there comes a time where suddenly your prayers are answered.
Yeah.
Or maybe not suddenly, sometimes it's gradually. And you're still there just to fighting. I mean, you can still just be on the front line, just to fighting, but then you realize, well, that's what I got what I wanted. I got what I knew the Lord had for me. So now what do I do?
Right.
It's not that there's not something else to pray for.
Yeah, Karen, what I was sitting here thinking is, now when I pray, it seems like I'm praying more for other people.
Okay.
You know, so
those who are in the front line.
Yes. So those that are kind of in their own battle or war right now.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right.
But I was telling Karen a while ago when we were discussing a little bit about this, how, you know, I went through a period of time where I was sick for a few years. It wasn't just months.
No.
It was 3 to 4 years. And it just seemed like one struggle after another. And I felt like I was in a constant battle for my life.
Literally.
And literally.
Yeah.
Yes. And physically, I felt that way as well. But I've come into a place now where I believe I've received my healing.
Yes.
And I don't war in prayer for myself anyway. I don't war in prayer like I did. And it takes a toll on you when you are the one that's sick and you're warring too.
Yes.
So you become weary and it's just a heavy thing.
It is.
Yeah. And war is heavy.
It is heavy.
Yeah. And but like you said, it doesn't last forever. There's something, the scriptures talks about, this too will pass.
It will pass. It will pass.
So, yeah. So if you're in a battle right now, or if you're in your own war, you just keep fighting, and it won't last forever.
It won't last forever.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. So I grew comfortable in my schedule of war.
Okay.
And so, and I had it down to this is how I do it. This is my schedule. This is what I do. And then I discovered that, you know, my body's telling me you need a rest. Because the body is different than the spirit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the spirit can war every day.
Right.
But the body can't war every day. And so the body tells the tale of what you've gone through. And so we have to be responsible. And I've heard, you know, things about people who wanted to go on the mission field, and they couldn't because their body wasn't strong enough, or they had to wait a few years so their body could actually handle, you know, that kind of transition. And I think too that once we have warred so much, we sometimes have to allow ourselves time to rest.
Yes.
That doesn't mean you stop praying altogether. It could mean your prayer changes, like you were talking about. But I think, Jesus, he drew the disciples away and had them come apart and rest. Cooked for them and things like that. And we need that.
Yeah, Karen, I'm just so glad you brought that up, because I haven't been able to put my finger on that. Like, I do believe that's the place where I am myself. And I haven't been able, you almost, because you've warred so long and you fought so long, you almost could feel guilty.
Yes. Oh,
because
I'm not praying like I should.
Yes, because I mean, you're in there and you're fighting, and then you finally come into, like you said, you come into some relief, or some your prayers are answered. And Job, we did a study on Job. He lost almost everything but his own life, and that felt threatened.
Oh, yes.
And there came a time where Joe recouped what he had lost. No, it wasn't the same children. No, it wasn't the same, whatever. But the Lord did bless him. And I really feel like if you stay faithful in the fight and you praise like like you've always done, I do believe there comes a time where you can find rest in Jesus.
Yes, I do too. And my devotional this morning was along the line, when Jacob met the Lord, and that he fought, the angel, and the angel touched his thigh or something? And so kind of disabled him in that way. And so he didn't, according to this devotional, he didn't get his blessing during the fight. He clung to and would not let go. So it's just kind of a dead weight. Everything I have is just dead weight. I'm just clinging to you, and bless me, And so it's not fighting. It's just kind of a resolve. I'm clinging and I'm hanging on. And that's when the blessing came. And so sometimes there's this release that we do. And, when Abraham said, okay, you can have my son. There was that transaction, that release that happened. So sometimes we get there and we have to just kind of, I prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed, and Lord,
the trust.
Okay, you know it all. And Lord, you can read my list. I'm tired. And
Karen, I was thinking, I mean, it's all we know. It's what we were taught. It's all we know is to cling to Jesus. And there's not another option.
No.
But
where else will we go?
Where else would you go? I mean, I did wonder why the battle was so long, but I wasn't about to give up in the fight, because I knew where my answer was. And, on the other side, I can look back and I can see the things the Lord has taught me through that, and the compassion for other people. And I pray different than I used to pray. And so do I think God put sickness on us in that time? I don't. But I do think that he allows us to walk through things. And I think that he uses opportunities like that to teach us. And for me, it's don't give up in the fight.
Right. And you didn't feel nice and cushy, and I mean, you didn't have the presence of the Lord just permeating everything. You felt darkness.
Well, everything looked different. It was a dark time. It was my body, I lost so much weight. I mean, I was just terribly sick. My mind wasn't where it wasn't at peace, and there was just so much. And man, I'm so thankful
Yes.
to be on the other side of that, and to know, and to be at rest. I have a sign up here in my back porch that says "Be still," and I like that.
Yes.
To just be still, and you can hear the Lord speak to your heart. I've never heard him speak out loud to me, but I've heard him speak loud in my heart.
Right.
And so, yeah.
Yeah. What if during that really dark time you had made some sort of life-altering decision? That wouldn't have been the time to do that, would it have been?
No. Oh, no.
So you never want to make life-altering decisions when you're going through the dark.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no matter what the dark is.
Yeah. You just you just stay on, like you said, you don't feel, I didn't feel God real near. He felt very silent in that time. But I know now he was there. Yeah, it's almost like you go on autopilot, and you do what you've always known to do. And that's to just be faithful to what you know.
Yes.
And
do what's right.
Do what's right, and praise in the dark.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. And like Paul and Silas, those prison doors are going to open.
They are.
Yes.
They are.
So
that's cool. I like that. Anyway, hopefully this might help you. Something we said, or if you know someone who's going through it, you might want to share us. If you feel like it's the right thing to do. So anyway, we hope you're blessed. We hope that you know it's okay to rest after a good fight.
That's right.
You got to recuperate.
Yeah. All right, this has been Coffee with Janis and Karen.